New problem. We have a new problem on this Lecoaspira Polti. So,
Hey, when is finished the video about the GSX-R?
You're absolutely right. GSX video is delay, and reason is not due to the fairing because they are almost completed, just need to be polished a bit. But I'm facing some challenging with the fuel tank, and the result was not as expecting. So I prefer to make a good job. So please be patient just a bit more, but it will come. It's there. You can see pieces all over. So stay tuned.
no any more problem with the vapor, but apparently he constantly shutdowns while in use, and my wife had the feeling that is some electrical issue, maybe linked to some connection. So the first thing we are going to do is to inspect the power cable to see if there is any sign of twist, scratch, or whatever. No visual damage at all. So next step, we will connect it to the power supply, and let's see if we can simulate again where the error is. Eventually I can see here the cable is a bit twisted here, really close. Let me take it. So if I go really here close, you can even see that the cable is not perfect here. So maybe here he got a damage. But now let's connect the plug and see what happens. I've connected power supply and no signal of life at all. None. So it means there is something wrong here, and I think the only way to figure it out is to again open it and see what's wrong. Okay, so after we have emptied the tank, the water tank, let's now remove the screws here.
Link in the description about another video where I explain screw by screw how to dismount the Lecoaspira.
Okay, so the first thing we need to secure is we have the power supply coming here. So to check if the wire is working. And to do it, there are, if I may say, two ways. You can plug the socket, plug the socket, and then measure here if you are getting the 40 volts. But if you are not familiar with that, maybe it's a bit unsafe. So the other thing you can do as alternative without using any power supply, so let me say 100% safe, you could use the multimeter to check if there is continuity between the pins here and the cable here. Let me show you. So you select the multimeter to go over here on home resistance measure, then you can select to have, for example, this bit. So if there is continuity, you see you will get red light and beep. So let's try to see now. So we put one pin over here and the other one here. This is no continuity. This is continuity. So then we do the opposite. Continuity, continuity. So the wire is working. We can even test the ground, it's not a problem. And also the ground is working. So power supply here to here it comes. So it apparently means that we have a problem here on the electronic board. That's not a good news at all. Not at all. So let's hope that there is a very minor issue here and not a severe one. First thing first, let's go for a visual inspection. For the visual inspection, you have to secure that all the connectors are well connected. You can look carefully if you see any sign of burn, or you can even smell. But apparently everything here seems really okay. I don't see any evidence on this card and area that something is not working. So I think we have to move on the upper side. Alright, the display is connected through a flat cable that goes all over here. Here you get split it in half, and then it moves on the bottom and is coming out of here, making this very bad curve. So you see here, and then is connected here. So my experience with flat cable tells me that they are often subject to break, and I'm not also confident on the status of this one. So I'm going to disconnect this one and check pin by pin if it works. All right. To disconnect this flat cable, you see the flat cable is just inserted in that way, and let me try to illuminate a bit more here, and hopefully you can see there are just two plastic teeth, if you may say, on the edges, on the sides. So basically, to remove it, you have just to gently pull it up, and then you have to let it go through this hole, and then you can almost disconnect the front cover that is having this connector that I can show you. This connector that is here, and then as you saw in the previous video when we fixed the missing vapor, you have to disconnect this pipe. Then when you arrive to this moment, there are, let me try to illuminate a bit, there are two screws, one here and another one on this other side, that are just keeping this hose here, so you can just gently pull it out, and now you have access to this device, so you can remove the display. I've checked the flat cable pin by pin, so each of the pins, and it's working. Furthermore, I discovered that the flat connector is just to connect the motherboard to the display. My assumption is that we have a problem with the power supply of the motherboard.
So the natural next step was to go on Google and figure out how much a new motherboard will cost. Wait a second, does it make sense to spend 60 euros, or should be better to first investigate if really the motherboard is the issue?
Before spending around 60 bucks for a new one, or genuine new one, I'll do one more test. So I reconnect just the display and the power supply, and I would like to see if the problem can be caused by any other additional devices. So let's see if it's the motherboard itself or there is something else that is in short. To secure that everything is connected, I'm going to pull out also all these other connections, as this is the only way to secure that really everything is disconnected. So as I mentioned, it was worth to make this test, so just power supply and display connected, and you see, it's alive. So apparently there is something else that is preventing it to work properly. Situation is, we have reinstalled the motherboard, reconnected everything on this side, and apparently we have power supply and no error at all. So now we have to try to reconnect on the other side all the components, and let's see what is going to happen. And this is a surprise. I just turned it upside down and it stopped to work. You see? You see? So there is definitely something wrong with some connection. If now I try, oops, so apparently the problem is really on the wire itself and is linked in this junction here. Alright, so I've connected a temporary brand new cable and it works, but it was working as before. I mean, on vertical position it was working. Now let's see if we move it down, if it's continued to work. And it is so. That's a nice lesson learned. So even if we check the cable continuity and it was working, then when we move it, it stopped to work. Now that we have the evidence that the problem is here, let's just cut this piece of damaged wire. And out of curiosity, let's have a look how this damaged part. That one is still almost good, but that one, let me show you. Let me show you. So here is, you see? It's broken. And this is still okay. This of course is still okay, but this one was broken inside. So that was our issue.
Now, just the time to put all the pieces back together and the Lecoaspira will be ready for his job.
Hope you enjoyed this video. As usual, these fixes are made in a rush. It was quite long, maybe too much, because the fixing was very simple. But I hope it could help you in case you have a similar issue to don't waste time and go to the spot. So if you like this video, please consider to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more fixing and more series on GSX-R, and really nice ones are coming. So see you hopefully Friday for the GSX-R, and take care. Ciao ciao.